So I'm going to just do a quick minute or two and then hand it over to Mary Gail. And other Mary, big fan of YouTube. My super quick story is, so we have a YouTube channel called Cinefix that in 8.5 days will hit 2.5 million subs. And our most recent kind of viral hit was our leader of creative on Cinefix decided to stand up in front of a whiteboard with a marker, and all he did was outline the timeline of Logan from X-Men's life. 2.5 million views in like 3 days. And this video is 15 minutes long. Whiteboard, just standing there explaining the history of Logan. Like, that is the power of YouTube. So we're going to talk about, I'm just going to give you a little background on Mashable. There we go. So we had made a pivot about 18 months ago in sort of the kind of coverage we do. So we say we're for super fans. What that means for us is that we cover culture, entertainment, and technology through the lens of technology. And our CEO, Pete Cashmore, has sort of a great way of describing it, which is, if you imagine back to the way Rolling Stone and MTV sort of covered culture ostensibly through music, but ultimately became arbiters of culture in other areas, that's how we think of ourselves through technology, where technology is that vision of culture the same way music was a little while back. So we cover anything deeply, not broadly. So entertainment, if we talk about Game of Thrones, you're going to see 3, 4, 5 posted a day. So every Monday for the next, whatever, 7, 8 weeks will be our Super Bowl once a week, covering Game of Thrones, Westworld, Stranger Things, stuff like that. So our audience, the idea for the brand content, which Mary Gail will jump right into, is that we're trying to take them by the hand and introduce them to your brand through Mashable Brand X. Want to go?
Yeah. So Mashable Brand X delivers all of these things: creative strategists, visual storytelling, audience insight experts, content creators, social innovators, and dedicated content partners. But what I want to focus on today is our collaboration with our product team and how they deliver creative technology. Had a lot of interesting conversations here, but one of the things that isn't talked about a lot, particularly with publishers producing branded content, is it's not only the branded content team, but it's the incredible creativity that you can draw upon in the whole organization. And so our creative technologists, our product team are just fantastic, and we really get to collaborate with them in a creative way. Product and technology isn't an add-on, it's really an integral part of the process. So here they are.
Basically, my job is all about being a big kid, where I get to play with Legos every day, except they're not little plastic blocks, they're code and artificial intelligence, and I get to assemble them in all sorts of crazy ways and really push the bleeding edge of what's possible. And I get to say things like, yes, we can do that. Yes, that is possible.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
My name is Haile Owusu. I am the Chief Data Scientist at Mashable. I run the data science team.
My name's Trina Singh, and I'm a Senior Product Manager.
My name is Sarah Guido, and I'm a Senior Data Scientist.
My name is Leo Chang, and I'm part of the product team here.
Robin Peterson, I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Mashable. My team is really made up of these creative technologists. We're constantly asked to do things that, to be honest, we have no idea how to do. And that's when we really shine, because we hit a whiteboard, we put good minds together, and we figure it out.
Through conversations with the question askers and interfacing with the data, we come to some increasingly clear picture of the phenomenon that allows us to ask more detailed quantitative questions.
At the core, what we do is we study audiences.
It's like, okay, I found this very useful piece of information. Now let's transform that into something that's meaningful to non-technical stakeholders.
There's a specific moment actually that I really love, and that is when we bring a product to life and we present it to users and their eyes light up.
These days, with advances in neural networks, and in particular deep learning, it's possible to actually start to talk about style in a programmatic way. I'm very, very intrigued by the possibility of doing that with video and with writing.
The thing that I'm most excited to build here at Mashable is a data platform that is context aware, that understands the needs of its users and predicts those needs well before anybody else knows that that actually is a need.
We often have to solve problems that we've never solved before and might not have any idea how to solve them at the beginning, but that's data science.
I do what I do because I love technology and I love trying to figure out what's possible and then taking a step past that.
The sky's the limit in terms of what we can achieve.
Anything's possible.
Yes, we can build that. Even if it's crazy, we can build it.
So the wonderful data and insights platform that our product team has built for us is called Velocity. It's a proprietary platform. And what it helps us do is predict, create, and target content. So Velocity Dash is this dashboard that allows us to look at a topic or a theme across the web and see what's happening, see how quickly it's picking up speed in terms of shares in a conversation. Both the editors and the branded content team look at it in terms of finding white space, looking at certain words, looking at certain phrases, looking at certain approaches, narratives that are working around a certain topic. Create, this is really our CMS. Our CMS is automated. It serves up the topics and themes and ideas that are rising to the surface and to create the best user experience that we can. And then Velocity Kilogram is super interesting in that it allows us to look at the nature of sharing. And we believe that optimizing sharing is something that will help us get to a more productive engagement with the consumer. So a productive share is defined for us as a human taking a piece of content that we've put out there, either for the brand or editorially, and sharing it with another human. In other words, not just an impression, but an expression. So I just wanted to show you two pieces of work. We did for Netflix, we collaborated with Netflix to create a portal for the future around Black Mirror. And what we did was we reimagined what Mashable would look like in 2026. And so the whole site is optimized to show sharing, data and sharing visualizations. We also did something for Google. It was a one-day takeover, and we reimagined the whole site as if it looked like their Google Pixel product. So the reason for this talk, or what we really wanted to get into, and some of the things that we've shared, is around AI, like how we use AI. And I've talked a little bit about personalization, automation, but I want to talk about summarization and categorization, because that's kind of the next frontier of it. So around personalization and automation, so we've talked about Kilogram, and that is the way that we really get to personalization. By looking at the topics that we know people are interested in, we can really create content that speaks directly to their interests. And as we said, Mashable is a site of super fans. So they are not necessarily going to go wide, but they're going to want to go deep, deeper, and deeper still. So we can really present content to them that really speaks to their interests beyond sort of the surface level of the topic at hand. Automation, we talked about the CMS. When we talk about AI, it's not the robot apocalypse. I believe that it's something that will help us do things faster, more efficiently, for sure. But it also is really fascinating in terms of us being able to deliver up content that we know will be of interest to your audience, and that your audience, as we said before, will become brand evangelists. If we engage them in the right way, they will, with authenticity and in a genuine, organic way, share it with others. We talk a lot about influencers. Influencers, there are influencers, sort of mega influencers and celebrity influencers, but what the personalization allows us to look at through Kilogram are influencers in conversations. Kilogram actually shows us sharing within certain conversations. And we can see that a certain person with their immediate circle of influencers and their larger network of their social environment, they actually have a very powerful voice. And so we can follow them on that path and help present content to that broader audience that we know will be of interest. So getting to why I wanted to talk to you is that we really want to talk about categorization and summarization. This is something that our product team, Robin and team, are getting into now. Again, we've looked at personalization, we've looked at automation, but now we're going to get into categorization and summarization. So what does that mean? I mean, for AI, really, it's been about getting us to think more like machines, and now we're getting to a point where we're getting the machines to think more like us, right? So categorization and summarization around content is, let's say we pick a topic. Let's say, as a brand, you know your audience is interested in travel. And you go a level deeper, and then you know that maybe they're interested in adventure travel. And you go a level deeper, and maybe it's even, it's rock climbing, or it's bungee jumping, or whatever it is. But what categorization and summarization will start to do is, okay, we know those things about them, and that's helped us sort of personalize the experience, but in the body of content that we look at around that subject, why are they interested in that? And so you get to maybe learning that they're thrill seekers. And so you would start to develop content around that thrill-seeking mentality as opposed to just sort of looking at what they do around travel. And that's something that we're working on our product team with, and that's something, when you engage us, we will actually collaborate with them in the ideation phase. We will go to them and talk about what they know and how we can introduce tech into the actual creation of the content from the very beginning. Again, not as an add-on, not as something that's an afterthought, but that will be informed by them playing in Velocity, this Velocity platform every day, bringing it to the next level. So we're very fortunate, I'm very fortunate, our team is, to be able to collaborate with them every day as they are dynamically making this Velocity platform smarter and smarter, particularly around categorization and summarization. I'm excited for that, and I think the speed and the complexity of what we can deliver to you, or the way that we can collaborate with you in terms of really provocative and compelling storytelling is exciting. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any ideas?
Yeah, I can.
I am newly minted at Mashable. This is week 8 for me, so I'm going to have Eric.
So the CMS is pretty cool, and we call it a creation device, so content management system for people who don't care about the lingo. But essentially, when Mary Gail talked about our dashboard, editors come in the morning, and what that is a predictive idea of what's going to be trending in the next 24 to 48 hours, right? So it's not what's happening right now, it's what we think is going to be happening, and it serves more or less as a menu of story selection of what I might decide to cover if I'm in, entertainment or tech or the business team. So from that dashboard, I can also dial in, just show me what's trending in the US or New York. We lay Nielsen on top of that, so I can also dig into in a certain age level, et cetera. So I can get pretty deep into what we think will be sharing. Say I decide I'm going to write about Elon Musk says that Mark Zuckerberg does not understand AI, which I think is our lead story this morning. That I now sit down in front of the CMS and I'm writing my story. The CMS understands what I'm writing about, and it starts to show me, hey, here's 4 other articles about this same kind of idea. Here's the keywords you are using that are unique to your article that are not appearing in these. Here's all the other keywords they're using. So I can start to understand the angle, the way in which I might tell that story that would be different and unique. So it's not able yet to do that with video, but certainly I can describe what I'm going to talk about and get the same sort of notion in that CMS. So we look at it like a creative tool. It also, as I'm typing, can go find images on the web or images in our library that will help support the story. So it's a really amazing creative tool. And then on the back end, what Mary Gail was talking about with Kilogram, this idea of a productive share is we don't optimize for a click-through rate, we optimize for this productive share. So I've taken that piece of content, I shared it, and a real person has come back to Mashable. That for us is what tells us you're an influencer in this topic area. And as she talks about the summarization, the notion is we can all, whether it's Mashable or any brand, say, what are the topics my segmentation or my personas, what do they care about? They care about entertainment, sports. It's like really they look like every brand has the same sort of affinity cloud. But to go that level deeper is to find out, all right, you're sharing these football articles, but why? And to try and find out, is it the thrill seeking? Is it the violence? Is it the, rags to riches story? So there are different reasons as an influencer that I start to share content, and the topic level is fine, but way too high. If we can get you granular, and I think Kate from Coke was talking about, tell me something I don't know about my audience. If we can tell you why they're sharing that piece, so that there's sort of unknown content pools that may fit in other areas that you care about in your philanthropic work or sustainability, whatever it is, that we think we can hit a piece of content that will carry through in the mindset, not just the topic area of movies or sports, which, pings for every brand, really, if you do an analysis. That's what the CMS is.
Is there a self-serve client facing?
No. Okay. No, we actually had it as a SaaS model for a little bit. We pulled it back in-house. It's pretty complex to be able to use all the data sources and get to that info. Like there's a lot of humans on top of it, right? So Mary Gail's entire team. It's not just like the machine spits out like, here's why everyone shared that article. It really takes some culling and some analysis. Hopefully the machine makes it quicker and easier for us to find that, but you always have to have the, creative humans on top of it.
Anybody else? Well, thank you.
Thanks.